Doot, 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 doot. This is Nimrod. She is a Nimrod. Hello everybody, my name is The Watching Relic. Welcome back to another mock review. This is Nerox. So, I'm finally posting again. I understand that the last thing I said in one of my videos was, hey, it's winter break now, so I'll probably upload a bunch more, and then I didn't upload for 3 months. So, that's, really, the mark of a good content creator, if you ask me. But we're back, and, we have a new mock to talk about. And we have a lot of new mocks. There's a teaser image on my Flickr for this and, 3, 4 other new builds. So if you're curious, you can go check them out. One of them is a rebuild of an old mock. Your boy Shellock Toa of Iron is getting a new version, so that's fun. Anyhow, about this mock. This mock has an interesting sort of history with how it was built. She originally started as... I had the idea for this character before the mock, which is unusual. Normally I just build something and whatever it turns into is what it is. But this one I had more of a plan, and the plan initially was sort of a diplomat or politician kind of character, actually. Strangely enough, and I had more of sort of a regal or ornamental idea of her appearance. I wasn't going to give her any weapons or really make her a fighting type of character, but then she just turned into a generic warrior soldier type person, because quite honestly, my initial ideas just were not coming together, and, I don't know, doing sort of a almost royal looking, greebled out, sort of oriental looking type of fancy mock is, like, it seems like it should be something that I should be able to execute, but it just wasn't happening for this. I had some more colors initially, now it's a little bit dulled down, and I think the build is benefiting from that. As far as the build itself, this one didn't take particularly long, but it was a bit of a struggle. There were a lot of moments of just hitting dead ends, and eventually just sort of turning it around and changing the concept of the sort of character and the visual style that she would have eventually opened up the doorway to getting her finished. So let's start with the build. Maybe I might need to adjust my exposure, I'm not sure. Nah, that looks fine. There you go. Get some more light on that. So the feet are simple. I've done feet somewhat like these before. I never do anything too creative with custom feet, but I am using custom feet a little more prevalently now. My last few mocks have actually had somewhat interesting foot designs, and this mock is no exception. I think these look really nice. I like the use of the invasion from below hero minifigure arm on the side. That's kind of fun. And the heels turned out whatever. I don't really like that there's a gap in here because it looks like she actually has high heels. As far as the legs are concerned, I really, really like these legs. They might be my favorite part of the whole thing. There's actually a lot of stuff that I ended up liking on this mock, which is mildly surprising because of the struggle of getting her to a good place in terms of the build, but the final product has some stuff that I'm really a fan of. Rahkshi head knees. It's common as all get out to use Rahkshi heads as armor. Nothing new at all, but I don't find myself doing it very often. Mainly because I don't have a lot of Rahkshi. I don't have any Rahkshi head duplicates, so it usually has to be on a torso, and that's a little harder to fit in. Here, I just did asymmetry because it's just what I had. I had A silver and A blue. I didn't have both. Sorry. And they're attached fairly simply. As you can see, they just have one of these little thin lift arms in there, and then a cut lightsaber rod, and that's it. Very, very basic. I tried to use some T-pieces originally, and they just weren't quite long enough, and, they have that little extra bit that sticks out because it's a T, and it was sort of interfering with things. But they turned out fine. The back is just filled out with some basic Technic stuff, and it's a CCBS limb is the base. It's a translucent light blue one, and the thigh bones are also translucent light blue, so are the forearms, and so is her heart light. Uh-oh. Things are coming apart. I guess it's a heart light. I mean, it's not like this is a Toa character. Just common Bionicle terminology, not really thinking about it. I don't care. And yeah, the translucent light blue is very minimal and very subtle, and it's verging on why is it even there, and the answer is because I needed bones in the right length. But I think it's fine. I think it works. It's not distracting. And same with, there's also Metru Blue on this mock. And that is even more subtle. That's just in the hand connectors on the feet, and appropriately enough, the hands themselves. And also, her waist is an Anika waist, or a Metru waist, in Metru Blue, excuse me. I always want to call those Anika waists, but that's not where they originated. And so, yeah, so she's got a few, like, really subtle accent colors that if you focus too much on them, it's like, that shouldn't be there. That's breaking up the colors. It really should be just silver and Mata Blue, and gray, both light and dark gray. But I think it works out. Something about it doesn't bother me. Normally using, you know, multiple shades, like if you did the same thing with green, for instance, I think that would be a mess. If it had like mostly Mata green, but then bits of dark green and lime even, and whatever else. But there's something about blue where it kind of works, like just sort of absent-mindedly mixing the different shades. Maybe it's just because blue is just a happy, pleasing color. I have no idea. But at least it works in my opinion. I'm going to take off her shoulder gauntlets because they don't stay on well at all. And also I need to move her arms up out of the way and they hinder shoulder articulation. And I'm back. Minor delay. Pay no attention. Thighs. These thighs are thick, as the kids would like to say these days. Yeah, they straight up have the classic CCBS torso armor piece going on, and gosh, I mean, for the height of the mock, in concept, it seems like way too big of a piece. Like, it just seems over the top, but in practice, it really works, and these legs don't look extreme. Like, you can't really tell zoomed in, but if I zoom out, you get a little more context. I mean, look at that. I think proportionally that works out just fine. In terms of greebles and such, there's lots of stuff built in here. This little Technic piece right here it's just a random little lift arm. It's just frictioned in. Same with this little bit. It has a little Exoforce hand on it to kind of keep it in, but it's really not properly connected. It's sort of sitting in a pinhole, I believe, but not... I mean, it's a lightsaber rod going into an empty pinhole, so that's why it can kind of jiggle around, but it stays in. This one is actually looser for God knows what reason. They should be the same. Technic stuff filling it out, just more bones with the two pinholes and the full articulation range ball joint on the end, so she does have knee swivel. Didn't really take advantage of that too much in the slideshow, but whatever. It has some, the thighs have some interesting stuff built into them up around the hip butt area. They have these Borak shields, which... Again, friction connectioned. They're friction connectioned in there. I'm not going to take this apart. I'd love to take this big armor piece off and let all the friction connection stuff fall out just to show it, but I really don't have the wherewithal to put it back together. Sorry, peeps. So we're just going to look at it. Nim butts, not really proper Nim butts, but Nuva shoulder butts nonetheless. The Nuva shoulders are connected with a little Technic piece to the Borak shield, so they're a little assembly with the Borak shield that just frictions in there. And gosh, it works out well. I've never tried to do this like anatomically correct of a waist, thigh, hip, butt area. But I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. It doesn't look overly ridiculous or overly sexualized. It just looks natural and sleek and athletic. And fits with her style for the most part. And again, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that in concept seems kind of over the top for the mock. But in practice, I think it turned out nice. That's about all I have to say for the thighs. Let's move up to the torso. If Nuva butt wasn't enough, we also have Nuva boob. Yeah, they have the overlap. I know there are some people that are just like absolutely anti-overlap. I'm not sure why. Is it because it's technically warping one of them a little and that bothers people? I don't know. I don't care. I think it looks nice. I think it's the only way to get them close enough together to where they aren't like sticking out way past the shoulder width. Someone did complain about the way this 2015 armor piece looks on the abdominal section. It does stick out a little bit. It overlaps the Nuva shoulders a little bit. And yeah, I can see how it makes her torso very deep. Like at this one section. And she has a deep torso to begin with. And so, yeah, I can see that. But personally, I like how that turned out. As far as like the front of the hips, it's just a Metru chest. And there's nothing on the back of those Metru hips because you had to have room for the butts. As you can see, it's just flat and empty underneath there. That might be one of the more unfortunate areas of the mock because it's one of the most overtly gappy areas, but it's not too bad. I have a little cheese slope in there. There's a lot of stuff built into this torso, like much like the thighs, it's got quite a few little greebles in there. There's that motorcycle. Wow, there's a motorcycle repair shop next to my house, and I just want to throw rocks at them and hope they crash. Okay, anyhow, we have little Borak eyes in here in the armpit. Classic use of Borak eyes, always looks nice, always adds to just some subtle torso sort of shaping and contours. We have these little, like, I don't remember where these originated, sometime relatively recently. These little pieces here, these spiky things, they're just frictioned in up in the top of the Nuva shoulder. Why is it not wanting to focus? There we go. You can kind of see, wow, it really doesn't want to go. Anyway, this little bushing in here is frictioned in. So it's loose in there, and sometimes they get like reoriented in there and kind of lodged deeper in, and I have to take the whole chest apart and put them back in. It's only happened like once or twice, so let's hope it doesn't happen again, because that's just no fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in here. There's like some little, the same barb pieces that are right here, these like medium barb pieces in silver. There's more of them inside there. Yeah, you can kind of see it curving through there. And they are also somewhat loose in there, but then the 2015 armor piece keeps them in. Lots of Technic mumbo-jumbo. There's some big D-shaped lift arms. You know, the do I have any extras to show? Oh, man, do I really not? I was hoping to show one for reference, because you can't really see them in the torso that well. But you know what piece I'm talking about. The big one that's an L, but then it has the curved connective tissue. And those kind of add to the underlying shaping. Like they created a good sort of base for the outer bits to sort of sit on. And they created a nice like underlying curvature for the whole thing, which I think helps with the subtle inner shaping of the torso. And yeah, there's no real gaps. It's very dense with the Technic and gap filling things and greebles and all that. And I'm really happy with how that all looks. It's almost on the verge of being delicate. Like I said, there's some little bits that are kind of not quite perfectly in there, but overall it's actually fairly stable. Big Anika foot on the back. She has these interesting kind of... These were weapons originally, but now they're just decorative. I don't know what they are. They just sort of add to sort of a pseudo backpack appearance, which I do really like that part of her aesthetic. The arms are basic. No need to go over them as usual. Sorry. Again, I'd like to take more apart on this mock. I'd like to take apart the thighs. I'd like to take stuff off the torso to try and show you guys more of the inner build, but it's not. This mock is not terribly conducive to that. It's stable when it's all put together, but if you start just taking a few things out, it's kind of a domino effect with this one, unfortunately. So hopefully just the close-up shots and some of the explanations were hopefully they sate your hunger to find out more about my amazing building ability. So these top bits, I guess I should show how they work. Oh my gosh, this light is too harsh. There we go. That looks nice. So they have this little Technic bit in there with a little Exoforce hand. And they just go on the top of this little lightsaber bar here, which is, yeah, it's actually an arrow piece. It's one of these big silver arrows that runs through this whole like decorative bit. And then that goes right on there. And then, as long as this one's falling off, I'll show how they attach to the hands. They're very simple. The way they attach to the gauntlets is just this little Exoforce hand goes on the T-piece. There you go. They do not stay on her wrists well. Holy crap, it was annoying doing that part of the photo shoot. I mean, they don't stay on her shoulders particularly well, but they really don't want to stay on the wrists. And I can't quite figure out why. I mean, the bar connection should be enough to hold them. They're not that heavy. These are big, light pieces. But whatever. It's not too big of a deal. So that is about everything I have to say as far as the head goes. Oh, I will show the inner workings of that, because it's just a hand connector with a Technic piece. There you go. That's her face. That's her real face. This is only a facade to hide the fact that she has a hand for a head. And it does have a red ball joint. Sorry. I know that's going to kill some OCD out there. It kind of kills mine, but yeah. So overall, I really liked this mock, actually. It was a struggle to get her to a place where I liked her, and there was a little bit of an identity crisis with what sort of character and build and visual style she was supposed to be. But in the end, I think it all turned out pretty nice. And camera, tripod, Eternally crooked bothers me so much deep in my soul. ATST for size comparison, new size comparison tradition started in her slideshow. Here's Natalie Breeze. She's been a size comparison for a little bit now. And as usual, I'll bring in our 3 minifigures. And as you can see, this guy doesn't have his arms. And guess why? It's because they're on Nerox's feet. Now you know. I believe he lost his arms a couple slideshows ago, so if anybody noticed and was curious, that's where they ended up. Poor Duncan Bulk. Anyhow, that is about it. This is Nerox. My name is Watching Relic. I hope you enjoyed. More mocks coming soon. I think the next one I'm going to be posting is the new version of Shellock, which, since I've already posted a picture, I may as well just tease a little bit here.